Morning, Chusan. Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to talk about black and white. And I had a problem with that about, I'd say 7 years ago, maybe 8. I was um, in the shower and I saw the rosaries and the psalms, which I'll share in just a moment. And they were black and white and they were hanging. So when I went in to do a big project, they were all in black and white, first of all. And there were 100 of them. And he gave me a time. This is what time I need you to take them over there. I made mistakes on them, so I had to go back and fix them. But even after that, I was still doing that. You know, I was attracted to black and white. So um, the other day, I went to the church looking for black and white rosaries again. And I was like, that's not me. Like, where's this coming from? And I went back and started thinking. So when I went to the altar and I asked Father, why am I still black and white? I'm really getting bored of it. What is the lesson here? And he gave it to me. So it was the way I was thinking, one way, my way. That's it. I wasn't being open at the time. So I must have been hurt by something at that time. I don't remember what it was. Um, but so it's strange. I started seeing black and white rosaries again, bunches of them hanging like this and kind of swirling through the wind. Like, and today he gave me the message, Psalms 53. And then I started to see color again as soon as he gave me the message. Um, there are a couple things we're going to talk about here too. People who make false calls to CPS for non-emergency cases. Um, there's a protocol that to be following about the complaints. But in my case, none of them were founded to be um, correct, and nobody was prosecuted for the false calling. It states it on their website, if you're wrong or if you're doing this out of spite, there's prosecution. But there was never prosecution. I don't think I've even heard anything in the news about prosecution on this subject. There are so many children out there who need to be looked at. But when you're making these dinky, small, spiteful calls because you want to get even instead of just coming to me or to whoever you're having a problem with and addressing the issue, hiding behind a phone call won't work. They may not tell us, but then I always ask, will you be prosecuting them? It's a real waste of time. My whole entire life, I think I've made phone calls, 2 or 3 phone calls to CPS on serious cases. And that's when my child came to me and told me what she was told by another classmate. That's the only time I've ever called because of the concern my daughter had. And she was young. She was real young. And then I've called on myself 2 times. One, um, my daughter and I were having some difficult time. She was older, and it's like every time we'd open our mouths, we'd be yelling at each other. And and again, there was rumors starting that I was abusing my daughter. But I have this thing about television. Sometimes when I watch movies or a victim's thing, I'll start yelling out names. You know, cursing at the person who's doing the damage because it really bothers me. But I don't watch those things anymore. I stay to myself. I pray over that stuff. And then the second one was she was in middle school. She was going into 7th grade and she lost hope. And it was because her dad stopped paying child support and we couldn't really do anything anymore. We had to just, pay our bills and that was it. And which we always did, but we had a little extra, buy her clothes or things like that. Not in this case. She wanted to end her life. And my family stepped in, everybody stepped in to help, to give her some sort of hope, prayers. Um, my mom would write her letters and send a $5 bill in there. I want to talk about the money situation. So every Christmas when I was with her dad, He's like, there's no Santa here. I bought this. Period. He wouldn't allow them to have that fantasy of Santa Claus coming down the chimney and coming in. It was about the money. I mean, every holiday came, I'd buy them a little something. He's like, keep buying them things. They're never going to leave home. He's very, very money oriented. It was always about the dollar, period. And I'm like, this is crazy. But he was like that. And he wanted to make sure that everybody knew where that came from. I had a boss I worked for 10 years. I was a waitress. He never even gave me a raise. I never even thought about even ever asking for one. But I made tips, right? And he would tell me, "Oh, you only need to claim a quarter of your tips." I claimed half all the time. And then for Christmas, he would give us pen and paper, little pads of paper, so we can write notes and stuff, for special orders. He didn't get anything for us that we deserved. I was with him 10 years. That's how greedy he was. I got one free meal, and then he had his home country where he would send all his money. He had a big ranch back there. Hopefully, he was helping his people. But with his crews, his cooks, all of us, never ever a gift card, pen and paper. That was it. 10 years. And I used to think to myself, that's okay, because Father always made it up to me, when if I needed I need my hair done. I would go right down to the local bar and I'd go right to those football squares and I'd put them one, two, three, four in the middle. And I would win every time I needed a haircut. If I needed a washer and dryer, I'd let my customers know I'm looking to buy a used set. And by the end of the night, I had the money I needed. Anything that I needed, his father and I received. If you don't speak up, nobody knows what you need, you know? But I don't normally like to tell people, but when I was a kid, I did it all the time because, um, but I earned it. I didn't just like, here you go, let me give it to you. No, I earned every penny. I've earned every penny my whole life. Every penny. And then I've had one settlement, and that was a long time ago. But the thing is that things happen, right? But when you continue to look through that black and white lens, it's harmful and it could really be destructive. And people make false calls, there's no accountability yet, but it's coming. And remember, there's somebody out there who you're hearing crying and you're ignoring it. Think about that when you're going to make that call to CPS when you see a child walk down the street in a dirty diaper and matted hair. God bless. Take care.